What if someone asked you to work 7 years just to marry the person you love? And then, what if they tricked you and made you work 7 more? This isn't a modern horror story about toxic relationships. It's one of the Bible's most compelling tales of love, patience, and divine purpose. Our story begins in ancient Mesopotamia, around 1900 BC. Jacob, grandson of Abraham, is fleeing his homeland after deceiving his father and cheating his twin brother Esau out of his birthright. He's traveling to Haran, where his uncle Laban lives, carrying nothing but his staff and the clothes on his back. Picture this scene. A dusty, exhausted traveler approaches a well where shepherds water their flocks. Suddenly, a beautiful young woman appears with her father's sheep. Her name is Rachel, and the moment Jacob sees her, everything changes. Genesis 29:11 tells us that Jacob kissed Rachel and wept aloud. This wasn't just attraction, it was love at first sight that would define the next 14 years of his life. Rachel's father Laban welcomes Jacob warmly. After a month of working for his uncle, Laban asks what wages Jacob wants. Without hesitation, Jacob makes an extraordinary offer. "I'll work for you 7 years in return for your younger daughter Rachel." Genesis 29:18 records this moment that would test Jacob's character like nothing before. Now, 7 years might seem excessive to us today. But in ancient times, this was actually a reasonable bride price for someone with no wealth. What's remarkable is Jacob's dedication. Genesis 29:20 beautifully captures his mindset. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Imagine working every single day for 7 years, driven by love and hope. Jacob tends flocks, endures scorching heat and bitter cold, faces wild animals, and deals with Laban's increasingly demanding nature. Yet his love for Rachel sustains him through every hardship. Finally, the wedding day arrives. In ancient Middle Eastern culture, brides were heavily veiled during ceremonies. The celebration lasts all day and into the night. But when morning comes, Jacob discovers he's been deceived. Instead of Rachel, he's married her older sister Leah. Laban's explanation reveals cultural practices we might find strange today. "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one," he says in Genesis 29:26. But this isn't just about tradition. Laban has manipulated Jacob, taking advantage of his nephew's love and desperation. Jacob confronts his uncle, devastated and furious, but Laban offers a solution. Complete Leah's bridal week, then marry Rachel too, in exchange for another 7 years of labor. Jacob agrees immediately. His love for Rachel is stronger than his anger at being deceived. This moment teaches us profound lessons about patience and perseverance. Jacob could have given up, could have returned home in defeat. Instead, he chooses to continue pursuing what he believes God has planned for him. His patience isn't passive waiting. It's active, determined commitment despite overwhelming obstacles. The next 7 years test Jacob even more severely. Now he's married to 2 sisters who compete for his affection. Leah feels unloved despite bearing Jacob several sons. Rachel remains barren for years, causing her deep anguish. Jacob finds himself caught between 2 women, neither fully happy. Yet through these trials, Jacob learns invaluable lessons. The man who once deceived his father and brother now experiences deception himself. He discovers that shortcuts and manipulation lead to complicated consequences. His journey teaches him humility, patience, and dependence on God's timing rather than his own schemes. Rachel eventually bears Jacob 2 sons, Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph becomes one of the most important figures in biblical history, saving Egypt and Israel from famine. Benjamin's descendants include King Saul and the Apostle Paul. Jacob's 14 years of patient labor literally helped shape the future of God's people. This story resonates powerfully with modern audiences. We live in an instant gratification culture where waiting seems impossible. Jacob's example shows us that some of life's greatest blessings require extended seasons of faithful service and patient endurance. Jacob's journey from Haran ultimately reveals God's faithfulness through human imperfection. Despite family dysfunction, deception, and years of hardship, God's purposes prevailed. Jacob learned that true love requires sacrifice, that patience builds character, and that God's timing, though often mysterious, is always perfect. The man who began this journey as a deceiver emerged as Israel, father of the 12 tribes. His 14 years of labor for Rachel transformed him from a schemer into a patriarch, proving that love's greatest victories often require our longest waits. Don't forget like and subscribe.